This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
The time right now is 4:27 here on your Wednesday morning. We want to thank you for starting your day with us here at RTV6. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. It is something that you don't ever want to think about, but what happens after a crash? If you are stuck in your car, we are going to be talking to first responders about how they keep you safe while removing you from that crash scene.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with taking apart your vehicle, basically. If you're stuck in there and they can't get you out, you can see some video right here. Obviously, this is something that they practice. They have technology and equipment in these types of situations. And, you know, the more they practice this, the quicker they're going to get. And when you're in an emergency situation, time matters when it comes to getting you out of that vehicle in a safe way. So Aaron Lish is going to be breaking this down for us and showing us how this all works. Again, it's not something you want to think about, but really important because it can happen to anyone.
Absolutely, and thanks to new technology, it is getting easier for first responders in those situations. Hard to believe, but some students are going back to school.
Yeah, it's the end of July, obviously, and we know that Perry Township students are heading back to school today, so we do want to give you a heads up because if you drive through Perry Township there on the south side of Indianapolis, you'll need to pay attention in those school zones. It's not summer break anymore, even though it feels like it. We're going to have buses out there, kids walking across the streets, so just a heads up to people in that area. And this is something we're going to be talking about a lot, really starting today, heading through next week, because more school districts, especially big ones, are going to be heading back within the next few days or so. My aunt is its first grade teacher in Perry Township, and she just can't believe that her summer break is over. So good luck to all the students and teachers there in Perry today. We do want to bring Alyssa, though, because we want to talk about how your student needs to dress on the first day.
They're going to need a little sweatshirt or something out there.
Sweater this morning. That back to school first day out there, right?
Not that typical back to school dress, but that's okay. We are seeing those temperatures a little cool this morning in the 50s, so you're going to need to dress your kid in a light coat or a sweater. Very quiet on the radar this morning. We have high pressure in control, and it's going to stay that way for the next several days. 81 degrees for the high, so we're actually a little bit below average. The good thing is we have humidity that is low, and then we have those sunny skies throughout the day. So it's going to be a nice day, a cooler day, and then we are going to start our warm-up, and we'll be back into the 90s as we head into the weekend. So enjoy these cooler days before it gets really hot again.
I enjoyed the evening walk yesterday.
It was nice
Perfect. Yeah, no complaints here. All right, we do want to talk about our Hiring Hoosiers story for today. I took a look at what's going on in Lawrence Township. They have a big program for STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and it really starts as young as elementary school. We're going to be taking a look at what these fourth graders are up to and how these classes and these projects are helping to prepare them for a career. That's coming up with news, weather, and traffic right here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Do you know this man, the crime he's accused of, and how your information could help police?
Plus, emergency crews stuck in traffic trying to get through a roundabout. Working for you, we're talking with first responders about what you're supposed to do if you get stuck in this situation.
And an Indiana man hurt while hiking in another country is on his way home when he's expected to touch down in the Hoosier State. It's 4:30 on your Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. We have Alyssa Donovan with us here on this Wednesday morning talking about the forecast. And I kind of wish all summer could be like this week.
I know. I love this kind of weather where it's a little bit cooler. We're a little bit below average. It's a little chilly to start, though, especially for those kids heading to school today, which is amazing. so early. But those temperatures to start out this morning, a little cool in the 50s and 60s across the area. It's 59 degrees in Indianapolis, so you might want to grab a light sweater or a light coat. Temperatures today only climbing into the low 80s, so we are just a bit below average today. So what's going on is we have high pressure in control, and it's going to stay that way over the next several days, keeping us dry. We do have a low pressure system just to the north of us that we are keeping an eye on, but for the most part, we are likely going to continue to see those dry conditions today, tomorrow, and into Friday because of that system. So partly cloudy skies in some areas to start, but we are going to continue to see clear skies for most of the day. A little bit more cloud coverage by the afternoon, starting in the 50s this morning, climbing into the upper 70s and low 80s throughout the day. And as we head over the next few days, we'll continue those temperatures climbing. So this is going to be our coolest day in the forecast, with those temperatures starting below average and staying below average this afternoon. The good news is lots of sunshine, but as we head into the next few days, we are climbing back into the 90s as we head into the weekend.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Monitoring some overnight construction for your morning drive. Here's a live look at I-69, a little north of I-465, the ramp system in that area on the northeast side. Now, a heads up, we do have an off-ramp closed. If you're heading southbound on I-69 and you want to get off at I-465, that is blocked for some construction, so you'll need to avoid that area. Continue down Binford Boulevard. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated, but let's take a turn here to the northwest side where we have more construction. This is an ongoing project along I-65. We have the two left lanes closed, southbound I-65 at Lafayette Road. Just use caution as you're heading through that area. It's pretty quiet out there right now, so you shouldn't have any problems or delays.
It's probably not what you want to see if you're waiting for help. A fire truck with sirens blaring brought to a complete stop as it goes through a roundabout. This video was posted on social media with concern that infrastructure is making it difficult for first responders. Working for you, RTV6's Graham Hunter is taking those concerns straight to the Carmel Fire Department.
You can actually see some of the effects of what was captured on camera here in Carmel. We're shooting this at rush hour. Conditions are pretty backed up right now. Traffic is moving pretty slow. It has some folks concerned about what happens if an emergency vehicle needs to get through.
I see a truck that is obviously having to wait for traffic.
There's no disputing that fact. Tim Griffin with the Carmel Fire Department says it happens.
So that's something that we've always had to do during rush hour or construction situations.
Southbound range line is one lane at Executive, and the roundabout, normally 2 lanes, is also 1 lane due to construction. Griffin says the Carmel Fire Department works with the city's engineering department to account for those changes around town.
We will plan accordingly in the direction we go to a run and or even change the way that the run carts come out to make sure that the fastest piece of equipment will get there.
Griffin says in 16 years as a firefighter, crashes have gotten less dangerous since Carmel started installing roundabouts.
And we've seen such a decrease in the amount of major incidents due to the roundabouts.
The reason, Griffin says, is a change in impact angles.
With roundabouts, it takes out that side impact. People have to slow.
And he says run times around town have gotten faster, but acknowledges narrow roads and roundabouts can be confusing for drivers when there's a rescue vehicle trying to get through.
The big thing is remain calm. You know, we understand that you have nowhere to go and traffic just to continue to flow as it can.
Griffin wants people to remember to keep their radios turned down so they can hear first responders coming and to move over when they have enough space to do so. And if a fire truck comes up behind you in a roundabout,
don't stop in the roundabout. Just continue either through the roundabout and then stop, or just continue to that circle. That way you're out of the way and you're not in the roundabout stopped.
Working for you in Carmel, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Griffin says in spite of the slowdown seen in that video, responding units were able to make it to the call in 6 minutes or less. That is the standard time the fire department uses to get on scene. The call was for an alarm and all units were called off. If you have a safety concern in your community and need help getting answers, reach out to us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
At 4:35, school buses will be back out on the roads this morning in some parts of central Indiana. Today is the first day of classes for students in Perry Township. A number of township and suburb schools are heading back to class next week. As school traffic picks up in the next few weeks, you'll want to adjust your morning commute schedule to allow for that extra time for those school buses. A 17-year-old boy faces attempted murder and kidnapping charges this morning after police say that he attacked a 13-year-old girl on the IU Bloomington campus. Dong-wook Ko is charged as an adult. Investigators say he slashed and choked the young girl in Merrill Hall back on July 12th. Officers arrested Ko at his home in Bloomington. Police say he knew the girl, and the motive behind that attack is still unclear.
Clear surveillance video shows a person police want to talk to in connection to a sexual assault in West Lafayette. Now investigators want to know if you recognize him. A woman says the attack happened around 11:45 Saturday morning on the Wabash Heritage Trail system near the wastewater treatment plant. You can report information by calling West Lafayette Police or a national tip hotline at 1-800-78-CRIME.
At 4:36, a newlywed couple from Crawfordsville plans to return to central Indiana today after the husband almost died on their honeymoon.
I don't remember the rope snapping. I just remember 1 minute I'm climbing down this rope trail, and then the next minute I'm sitting with a pile, sorry, I'm going to get a little graphic, but sitting with a pile of bloody vomit around me.
Clay Chastain suffered severe injuries after falling while exploring a volcano. Since we first aired their story, the couple has raised almost $36,000 on a GoFundMe account. The money will pay for their travel because of Clay's injuries. He cannot take that commercial flight back home. He's going to need an air ambulance.
Vigo County government offices are recovering from a malware attack. Employees arrived on the job yesterday morning to find their computers inoperable. The attack rendered email servers useless and caused a number of other issues. Computer problems even caused problems for some court cases. Vigo County leaders say it could take several days before everything is back to normal.
The former site of the GM stamping plant will eventually be home to apartments, restaurants, retail, and more. Developers invited the community to visit the 103-acre lot on the southwest side of Indianapolis. The future development is called Waterside. Construction has not started just yet. Representatives say that many of the neighbors are already excited about this new project.
We are very close to the neighbors in the valley right across the street from us, and they describe the GM stamping plant as an old friend who has fallen on hard times. And, you know, Ambrose Property Group in Waterside is here to kind of give it a hand up.
Well, the developer says phase 1 of the project includes basic infrastructure work like new streets and sidewalks.
Indy's newest brewery is scheduled to open August 1st in the Fountain Square neighborhood. Bloomington-based Upland Brewing Company will open Upland FSQ. It will be an all-ages location with a full-service restaurant that has a lot of Upland beer. Upland FSQ will feature a brewery for tinkering and barrel aging. The bar holds 26 taps. It's located near Prospect Street and Olive Street. The location will be Upland's first brewery in the Circle City.
Tensions are high in the nation's capital this morning as we wait for special counsel Robert Mueller's testimony. Just after the break, how Republicans are preparing to defend the president.
Plus, a new report shows just how bad water pollution is at beaches across the country. Straight ahead, how many Indiana beaches made the list. Alyssa.
We have a cool start today. Temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s, only climbing into the low 80s this afternoon, but we have a big warm up in the forecast. I'll break down the details coming up.
Financing for 60 months on select 2019 Atlas models.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. This is US 31, a little south of 136th Street. You can see no problems on the roads right here. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on all the construction on your interstates. We'll keep you updated in just a few minutes.
All eyes are on Congress this morning as special counsel Robert Mueller delivers his long-awaited testimony.
That testimony will be televised over 2 hearings with Democrats and Republicans both poised to grill Mueller for answers regarding the Russia probe. ABC's Trevor Ault has the very latest from Capitol Hill.
Today, after 2 years of investigating and nearly 500 witnesses interviewed, special counsel Robert Mueller finally taking questions in front of the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committees. The special counsel's testimony anxiously awaited by Congress and the American people, though Mueller himself wanting to avoid it from the beginning.
Any testimony from this office would not go beyond our report.
Mueller notoriously tight-lipped, only giving one 10-minute statement at the conclusion of his investigation. Democrats hoping under questioning he'll reveal whether he would have charged President Trump with a crime if it weren't for the Justice Department rule against prosecuting a sitting president. Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff already conceding that's not likely, but he thinks even straightforward testimony will be useful.
For many Americans, just learning what's in the report will be a revelation.
Both parties preparing for the testimony ahead of time with mock hearings. Sources telling ABC News the Democrats are framing their questions for yes or no answers and have been preparing for what one aide called potential Republican antics. Republican Representative Jim Jordan already objecting to a late request from special counsel Mueller to have his longtime aide Aaron Zebley sworn in alongside him. President Trump also weighing in, saying Zebley's appearance should not be allowed, and again calling the investigation a rigged witch hunt.
$40 million, interview 500 people, they got nothing.
President Trump has gone back and forth as to whether or not he'll be watching as Mueller testifies, and Mueller himself has said he won't reveal anything other than what's been written, saying, quote, "The report is my testimony." Trevor Ault, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
The House Oversight and Reform Committee holds a hearing today on the status, planning, and preparation for the 2020 census. Earlier this month, President Trump announced he's backing down from his effort to include a citizenship question on the census. Government officials say printing has started.
Brexit backer Boris Johnson becomes Britain's prime minister today after winning an election to lead the governing Conservatives. Outgoing Prime Minister Theresa May will take questions in the House of Commons before meeting with the Queen to talk about handing over her resignation. Queen Elizabeth II will then formally ask Johnson to form a government. It's 4:44. A Vermilion County woman is facing charges in animal neglect in an investigation there. We first told you about this story yesterday. Police found 3 dead goats on a property in Cayuga. Now this morning we know that 38-year-old Charlene Williams faces charges in connection to this case. She's facing 4 counts of animal cruelty. Authorities say other animals were also found on the property in pretty bad shape. Williams is out of jail on bond this morning. Those surviving animals are being cared for by volunteers.
The family of first moonwalker and Purdue grad Neil Armstrong has received a $6 million settlement from the hospital where he died. That's according to a probate court file. The legendary astronaut died in Cincinnati 7 years ago in what was attributed to complications from coronary bypass surgery. Armstrong's sons later threatened to file a wrongful death lawsuit against Fairfield Hospital and hired a heart expert to review the medical records. The expert concluded not only that the hospital made fatal mistakes, but also that the surgery was probably unnecessary in the first place. A day at the beach is apparently no day at the beach thanks to water pollution. A new report finds thousands of beaches across the U.S. had unsafe levels of water pollution on at least one day last year. Researchers looked at more than 4,500 beaches and discovered more than 2,600 of them had unsafe bacteria levels on at least one day. Sources of the pollution included runoff from cities, sewage overflow, and failing septic systems. 5 northern Indiana beaches made the list. Well, that is not the news you want to hear, Alyssa, on a day like today when it would be great to get to a beach.
It would be great to get to a beach. I feel like it might be a little cool to even get in the water today. We are going to see a lot of sunshine, though, and dry conditions. This is our dry and sunny and mild streak that we've been talking about all week. We have that high pressure in control. It's keeping things very calm in the weather department. We do have that heat building back in, though, as we head into the weekend. We'll be back into the 90s, and then to start out next week, we do have the potential of some unsettled wet weather that could bring us some showers and thunderstorms starting Monday and into Tuesday. Today, however, starting very cool this morning. Temperatures below average in the 50s across the area. 59 degrees right now in Indianapolis. We have those clear skies, those light winds out of the northwest. Kokomo's at 57 and Bloomington at 58. So if you are heading with your kids to school this morning for their first day, I'm talking to you, Perry Township, you are going to want to grab a light jacket or a light sweater for your kids because it's going to be a little bit cool outside waiting for the bus. Quiet on the radar this morning. We've seen a few just returns right around Lafayette. We're keeping an eye just to the northwest because we do have a low pressure system that direction that could drop down, bringing us just some light showers in those areas. More likely, though, we are all going to stay dry today, and that is because we have this large area of high pressure that's continuing to build into the area as we head through the day today and into tomorrow and heading for the weekend. What that's doing is starting to warm us back up. So today, a little bit cool still. We're just in the low 80s, and then we'll climb a little bit more as we head through the day tomorrow and into the weekend. We'll continue to see this high pressure in control, building that heat back in, and then a little bit more humidity as we head into Sunday. Today, starting very cool across the region. Some of us are still going to dip down yet this morning, and that's just because we have those clear skies out there. So if you're in the 60s right now, you still might drop into the mid 50s this morning. So 59 right around 7 a.m. here in Indianapolis, 56 right around Kokomo. So some cool spots today to start. We are staying mostly clear today. We could see a little bit more cloud coverage in the afternoon as that low pressure system dips down just a smidge, but for the most part, we are going to see a lot of sunshine with those temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and low 80s. So a few degrees below average today. And then we are climbing back into the mid 80s tomorrow, upper 80s on Friday. That heat is back in the forecast as we head into the weekend. 90 on Saturday with mostly sunny skies. That's going to be the day to get outside. And then that humidity is really back in the forecast on Sunday ahead of some showers and storms that are going to move in with the front. Overnight tonight, we are going to drop back into the 50s. So tomorrow morning, again, going to need that light jacket or a light sweater because it is going to be a little bit cool to start once again. Today, starting in the 50s and low